My name is Ariel, and I started with recorder when I was 6, then played flute from about 7 or 8 all through high school, then dropped it, didn't play at all or very little for a couple decades, and then picked it back up in the last few years. At first, when I got back to it, I was able to kind of brush up what I knew from way back when. I still had all my old books and it kind of went fine, but I quickly stagnated because I was going off recalling from 20 years plus before, and it was probably bad technique to begin with that I had interpreted as a kid. And so I became frustrated that I wasn't improving anymore, and I didn't sound the way I wanted to sound, and I was tense, and it wasn't fun. So I tried a few different things. I tried a couple things online that were helpful, but then also would stagnate. So then I stumbled upon some videos from Green Banana Studios, and was like, immediately my interest was piqued because the solutions that were being given were simple, to the point, specific, and doable. And I was able to do them, and it clicked. So then I looked them up on the web and went to a free presentation that they did, or Q&A, and again was just really impressed with the way that the practice formula was presented, and it made sense to me, and it was something that I could see I could implement it in the immediate, and it would change my practice, and it would seem like it was going to help. So I signed up for the practice formula, and what has changed is almost too long to list already, and I only just started. But my sound quality, my breathing, my tension is all changing for the better. What I find most valuable is you're able to post videos of yourself playing, or post specific questions about things you're struggling with, and you get answers so quickly. Within a day, 2 days, maybe, you're getting really specific answers with actual solutions of how to fix or apply to your playing, and then you see the results very quickly, if not instantly. And that I haven't seen anywhere else. It's like having a private tutor in your living room that you can access whenever you want. And that's amazing. And then I'd say if, like I was a little nervous to post in the beginning or to join because I felt like I should be better than I was and had all these insecurities about my playing. But the community very quickly was just... It's such a nice group of people that just want to improve their playing and be supportive of each other. I shed my nerves around posting very quickly, because once you see the results of how quickly you can make improvements, it's a no-brainer. So if you're able to and you're considering joining, I highly, highly recommend it. It's worth it.
Hi, my name is Pat Reinhardt. I'm an amateur flute player, and I joined the practice formula back in October of 2025. I started playing the flute when I was just 8 years old. I took a 20-year break after college, and then I resumed. That seems to be a common story out there. I took lessons and master classes on and off, and I played in a community band for many years. But a few years ago, I retired, and I threw myself into more serious study of the flute. My goal was to develop the skills and confidence to pursue more selective ensembles and challenging repertoire. I can say for certain that the practice formula has been a significant factor in reaching my goals. Along this journey, I've had several different private teachers, and I've participated in other online flute platforms. But it was when I started with the practice formula that I really began to see rapid improvement in my playing as well as in my confidence. This program is unique in that it not only focuses on skills and technique, but also one's mindset. And that's made all the difference in my own personal growth as a musician. It's surprising how much our self-talk and perceptions can impede our progress, and what a difference it makes when we can reframe our thinking to be constructive and aligned with our goals. At the heart of the practice formula is a very simple framework that provided me with ways to self-assess my own skills, determine priority fundamentals to focus on, select exercises and repertoire for practice, and then receive individualized feedback on my progress from highly skilled professionals that are not otherwise easy to access. I have found it quite different from typical flute lessons in that it has been very much self-directed and at a pace that is comfortable for me. It is a collaborative approach to problem solving and works well for developing independence as a learner, and that aspect was very, very important to me. The outcome has been the strengthening of my weakest fundamentals by learning how and what to practice for best results, using strategies that align with research-based learning theory. Not only are the flutists that develop the practice formula exceptionally skilled as professional performers and teachers, they've established a supportive, respectful community, which is a remarkably safe place for members of different levels of ability to share our progress, our struggles, our successes, and our frustrations. That might be one of the biggest hesitations I had to joining, because I can be very sensitive to criticism and judgment, and I found none of that here. We learn not only from Sarah and Sarah, but we learn from each other, and we benefit from each other's work. I joined because I was intrigued by their approach, and I have stayed because it really works. It is very worth the investment if you are serious about learning to play the flute.
Hi, my name is Michelle, and I'm a flute player living in Calgary, Alberta. Before starting the practice formula, I always loved playing, but I didn't feel like I had a clear practice plan or even goals set out, so progress was slow. I felt frustrated and sometimes just stuck. Now, practicing is something I genuinely look forward to. I've learned to practice smarter, not longer, and I've been focusing on slow, calm practice and bringing that calm into the music itself, which has been game-changing. The support from Sarah and Sarah has been amazing, and the group has been just as important. Hearing others share their challenges and wins has made me feel like I'm not doing this alone. I've also learned to approach mistakes differently with a more positive attitude, take more risks while performing, and really embrace the musicality of the pieces I'm working on, which has become so much easier while working on all the fundamentals of flute playing. Because of all of this, I've even started performing solo again. It's been almost 18 years since the last time I did that. So something I haven't felt confident doing. The confidence now and the joy that I feel when performing has been such a meaningful shift for me. If you're thinking about joining, I'd say do it. This program gives you the structure, guidance, and support to really move forward, and it'll help you fall in love with playing again.
Hi, I'm Teresa O'Ryan. I played the flute in high school, and after 47 years decided I wanted to relearn the flute again. I was all over the board with the teacher, how to practice. I had no idea what I was doing. I just try a little here and a little there. And then I found fundamentally flute, and the Sarahs were common sense, and I loved the approach that they had. So I attended the high register intensive that they had, and shortly after I met with Sarah McDonald, who listened to me play the flute and then gave me some direction on my scales, which was invaluable. It was amazing the difference that was happening. And so then I decided that I would join the practice formula, and I can't believe my progress. It's amazing, and my anxiety has gone down tremendously. They helped me with repertoire that was way over my head for that I joined a band. So I don't know. There's so much that I could say, but they are amazing. I love their approach. They're kind and honest, and it's just invaluable. So thank you. Bye.
I've been a part of the practice formula since its early stages, and I've got a ton of benefit from it. Being out of music school without having regular lessons, it's sometimes hard to maintain an unbiased view of your playing. And getting feedback from two really lovely flutists and people has allowed me to work through ruts where I'm feeling really stuck about how to solve a particular problem. Another thing that's been really helpful is getting feedback on my practice plans. When you have to juggle a million things on your plate, it's easy to kind of let your fundamentals slide, and they've come up with a system that allows you to make sure that you're able to balance everything as much as one can and tackle it all. Probably one of my favorite parts of the program is the community. I remember being really terrified when I first joined to post and share videos of my playing because, like many flutists, I kind of hate recording myself, but because everyone's so nice, that's really been changing, and I'm getting much more comfortable with recording myself, which has been good for self-diagnosis too.
Hi, I'm Paul Hamburger, and I've been playing the flute for most of my life, although I came back to it seriously after a decades-long break. Before I joined the practice formula, I often felt overwhelmed. I had a long list of skills I wanted to improve upon, but no clear system for organizing my practice time. Private lessons helped, and it helped me learn repertoire and musical ideas, but I was still searching for a way to focus on the core skills needed for my playing and to make my practice time more efficient. I decided to join when I realized I didn't need more material to play. I needed a better process for building technique and turning practice into real progress. What feels different now is the sense of direction. My practice sessions are more focused and intentional, which has boosted my confidence. Instead of wondering if I'm working on the right things, I know I'm building skills that transfer directly into all of my playing. One clear example is air support and air direction. Many teachers talk about those concepts, but in the practice formula, Sarah and Sarah break them down into targeted exercises with regular feedback. That made the difference for me. I learned how to actually improve these skills step by step. As my control of the air improved, I could immediately apply it to my repertoire, and my sound and phrasing became more consistent. What makes this program unique is that it fills the space between private lessons and practicing alone. Lessons help you work on what to play. This program shows you how to build the skills underneath everything you play. The coaching and the community were an added plus. The community is supportive, practical, and focused on everyone's growth based on where they are in their flute journey. I would recommend this program to any flutist who feels stuck, scattered, or unsure how to structure their practice, especially players who already care deeply but want a clearer path forward. And if someone is nervous about joining, I'd say you really don't have to have everything figured out. Just come in willing to learn and experiment. For me, the biggest value of the practice formula is clarity. It turns practice into something purposeful, and that has changed how I approach the flute every single day. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melody McGraw. I started playing flute in grade 7, and I played until I was in my mid-20s and stopped for a lot of years to teach, and I have been back playing daily for about a year and 3 months now. I came to the Green Banana Flute Studio because I wanted to start taking myself more seriously on the flute again, and I was approaching retirement in my teaching job and felt that I would like to get into flute playing at a fairly high level once I retired. So I had heard Sarah's play in the Calgary Philharmonic and wanted to experience some of what they had to offer. And I found Green Banana Flute Studio and approached them first of all just because I felt that I was not able to play in tune, not with myself, not with recordings. I live in a remote area, so I didn't have other people to play with, but I felt that that was the biggest thing lacking. And when I started with the Green Banana Flute Studio, I discovered that the biggest thing lacking was actually not my sense of intonation, but my ability to use my air properly on the flute. And I had so much support from Sarah and Sarah in developing that air support and building a stronger sound within that. Since I've been working with Sarah and Sarah in the Green Banana Flute Studio, I have discovered that I have a lot of power to shape my own practice sessions, to diagnose myself, and to really dig into some of the issues that have held me back from playing the way that I can really play. The regular coaching in the practice formula is invaluable. If I have a quick question, I can take a little video and pop it up, and I have a response within the day. And often it's very, very succinct, very direct, and very much helps put me on the right path to solve the issues that I was dealing with. There have been moments in my playing with the Green Banana Flute Studio where I have felt that I was dealing with something I felt I shouldn't have to deal with, because I had studied flute for so long when I was young, and because I had a degree in music. I felt that there were things like playing properly with the metronome that I should just have, and it felt so frustrating. But because Sarah and Sarah gave me very, very specific instructions and activities to work with, those problems that felt frustrating and sometimes insurmountable, or felt like I had just done them wrong so long I couldn't possibly fix them, became something that I saw improvement with in 2 to 3 days. And over a matter of weeks, once I had these exercises that helped me focus these strategies and these technical skills, I really started to see incredible improvement. And the things I was working on a year ago when I started are things that just come naturally to me now. And I have learned so much more about the depth of what I can engage with when I'm playing and the skills that I can develop in an ongoing way. Because I live in a very remote community, there are no other musicians here, and there's no way for me to take private lessons in person. I did look at taking some private lessons online when I decided to come back to the flute full time. But private lessons are an hour a week. And with private lessons, I have to really target what I'm looking for, and I have to really connect with that teacher. And what I discovered about the practice formula with the Green Banana Flute Studio is I don't have to have that same target. It's not an all-in-one basket type of activity, because I can have a 5-minute coaching session just by posting a video, and the Sarah sent me back a little video with instructions to work on that skill. So what I find is it's much more ongoing. It's much more targeted to what I'm working on. And if something comes up in the moment in my practice, I can have it addressed right away. I have teachers who are there and ready to hop on and give me advice right away. In the past 25 years, I have performed only as a backup flutist with a very small church choir. There were very few rehearsals for this, and it was the only time I was pulling my flute out during the week. When I started with the Green Banana Flute Studio just over a year ago, I was of the mindset that I would retire and move to a bigger center and be able to perform. And that was my target. Until I was about 3 months in, and my teacher said, well, you need to be performing now, and you need to be performing regularly. So in this tiny little town, I was able to set up opportunities for myself to perform at least once a month as a soloist. A lot of that time I either have to perform unaccompanied work or perform with a recording or a play-along app, but I am up there. I'm in front of audiences, and I am playing at least once a month, and I'm playing repertoire that really challenges me. And if you had told me 2 years ago that I would be doing this, I would have been shocked, and I probably would have laughed, because my confidence was simply not there. I didn't feel that I was somebody that people would want to listen to. But what I have discovered is, at my current playing level, I can connect with my audiences. I can make something happen that is really special. And my confidence through the Green Banana Flute Studio and through learning with the practice formula has allowed me to do this. I feel that the biggest value from the Green Banana Flute Studio is the unconditional encouragement that we get from each other in this community. Not only do we support and guidance from Sarah and Sarah, who are tremendous cheerleaders, by the way. But the community itself really builds support for each other. There is not a sense of competition. There is a sense simply of rejoicing in the successes that we all have within this platform and offering suggestions when we ask each other questions. The community itself, fostered by Sarah and Sarah, is what makes this such an incredibly valuable and wonderful and exciting place to learn how to play the flute.